Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my Robinhood portfolio. As always, hope you guys are having an awesome day. What I thought I would do today is talk a little bit more about Pharmathene here, PIP. This is a stock I did a video about a little while ago. It's having a very unique special dividend coming out, $2.91, which at one point was representing over 100% of its share price. And this is a dividend coming from a judgment owed to it by another company for patent infringement. And the leaders of that company decided to give that entire judgment back to the shareholders as a special dividend, which, like I said, had at one point represented over 100% of the stock price. The stock has trended up since that time, taking into consideration this special dividend. But a very unique play here. I did jump in back in December 12th, bought a few shares of this. Didn't buy a lot of shares. Thought this was a very risky play, but a unique play. Wanted to kind of test the waters out, if you will, and buy a few shares of this. This stock is very unique in another aspect as well, because it's not having its traditional ex-dividend date 2 days prior to the record date and then the payment date at a later point. You're actually going to be having a payment date of February 3rd with record date of January 24th, and then the ex-dividend date is not 2 days prior to January 24th, typically on January 22nd. A normal stock would have its ex-dividend date. This is going to be on February 6th, so you're actually going to get paid for this stock before the ex-dividend date. And as you guys remember, the ex-dividend date is when an investor qualifies for a dividend. So how is that all going to work? You might be asking yourselves, how are they going to pay out the stock before they actually are marking an investor for the dividend? And then also the record date is predating the payment, or the record date is on January 24th. The payment date is on February 3rd, like I said. The ex-dividend date is 3 days later on February 6th. So how is that working? Why are they doing it that way? Well, they're doing it that way because many times after a special dividend, especially a dividend this large, representing, like I said, almost 100% of the stock price, the stock will essentially tank. It'll drop because most investors will simply collect that dividend and then sell off the stock. So to kind of get around that scenario, they actually pay the stock out before the ex-dividend date, hopefully trying to stabilize the price of that stock. And then what would be essentially done is the investor, if they were to sell that stock before the ex-dividend date, then they would have something that is called a due bill tagged to the stock. So they would actually have an obligation to deliver that stock's dividend to the next investor or whoever had that stock on that ex-dividend date. So kind of a weird little scenario. I'm assuming that the brokerage accounts are going to do this on their own. I don't see how an investor, or I guess theoretically an investor could take that money out of their account and then close their account. But I think the brokers will probably have some rule in effect where those funds are frozen, and then if they do simply hold the stock through the ex-dividend date, they'll keep that dividend. But if they do sell it, then they have that, like I said, that obligation, that due bill, to give that dividend, to deliver that dividend to the rightful owner, whoever held that stock on the ex-dividend date. So kind of a unique play here, a very unique set of rules with regards to the ex-dividend date. I hope I didn't confuse you guys with that. It's quite confusing, but essentially the dividend is paid out before the ex-dividend date. As you guys remember, the ex-dividend date is when the investor qualifies for the dividend. So if there was an investor out there who held it through the payment date, sold it before the ex-dividend date, then they would have to pay that, or they would have an obligation to pay that dividend to the next buyer or whoever held that stock on the ex-dividend date. So kind of a cool play here. Just kind of wanted to recap Pharmathene here. It's going to be very interesting to see what the price of the stock actually does. So again, the payment date is before the ex-dividend date. Hopefully that is going to stabilize the price, but nevertheless, a very unique stock here. Like I said, it's going to be paid out here shortly. 24th will be the record date. So if your name is on the stock at that point, you'll get the dividend. But again, the actual ex-dividend date is a few weeks after that on February 6th. So you may have to give that dividend to another investor if you did hold it on January 24th, but then sold off before the ex-dividend on the 6th. So hopefully that made sense. If you guys have any questions about that, let me know. But a very unique play. I might actually jump in and buy some more shares of this stock. A very unique play here. So let me know what you guys think about this play, about this special dividend. And yeah, kind of with that, I'll end the video. As always, if you enjoy my videos, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. building the channel, trying to learn about the stock market, trying to make some money in the process as well. Hopefully you guys have been learning along with me. And until next video, we'll see